To Siman Lamed Beis Seif Chaf. Now these halachas today are obviously much more relevant for Seifrim, but we'll learn it Torah Hivalim and Nitzrichim. The Shulchan Aruch says Tzarich ledakta b'chaseres v'yaseres. The Sefer has to make sure not to miss a letter. Within the letters, they have to be complete. You can't miss a letter. Even a vav, the Mishnah Berurah says, even if the letter doesn't change the meaning of the word, some words have a vav. It's the same translation with or without the vav. You miss a letter, it's puzzle. It says in the Mechaber, Psulim, and the people that wear it are over a bracha levatala. And worse than a bracha levatala, they're not makayim the mitzvah of tefillin because it's possible. And therefore the oynish, the punishment for the Sefer is very, very high because he's being machshel yidden. Therefore, you need a Sefer who's a very big Yarei Shemayim, Ledaber, Ledvar Hashem, Hamasasik, B'chsivas Tefillin V'tikunon. Then the Mishnah Berurah brings down it's a giant Mishnah Berurah where he just quotes the Lavush. With the Lavush, apparently, in the times of the Lavush, you're talking about the 1600s, the times of the Lavush, apparently they would have like younger kids, I mean like teenagers, who were very skilled at writing. They would be like the proteges of the Sefer. They would write the tefillin, and the Sefer would sort of oversee it and check it. He says it's mamish a terrible thing because first of all, they don't have the right kavana, and they're not knowledgeable. You need someone who's a big Yarei Shemayim. Again, very, very important. Okay, Mechaber says in Chaf Aleph, Kol parsha achter shechdivenu yikrena heitev bekavana v'diktuk, pa'amim v'sholish, v'yachzir yikrenu koidim she'inenu b'teich beisa, kedei shlo tischalef parsha b'parsha. When you finish a parsha, before you wrap it up and put it in the box, the Sefer should read it 3 times. Make sure that there's no mistakes. And then even when it's done, he should check it one more time to make sure it's the right parsha. Because if you don't want to put it in the wrong box, the Shal Rosh, each parsha is supposed to go in a specific box. You got to check it again and again and again. I don't know if they check computers. I know for Sefer Torah they have computer checking. I would assume for Tefillin as well. But again, read it again 3 times, again and again. And it's because the first time you mamish can miss something. Then the Mechaber says in Chaf Beis, Toiv lenasas hakulmis koidim sheyaschel lichtav parsha. Before you start writing, tap the pen, the quill, on a side piece of paper, because what ends up happening often is when you start writing, there's a little bit of a glob, and then the first part could be a problem. So you sort of make a scratch, test the pen, b'kitzur, before you start writing, so that you don't have too much, because v'yafsid v'chein yizar kodim sheyichtiv kol shem likrois kol mashakasav k'dei shlo yavei l'dei geniz al yadai. And before you write the Shem Hashem, when you're writing it, check it again to make sure, because if you make a mistake with that, or if you make a mistake in the Shem Hashem, you can't erase it. So you got to make sure as you're writing the Shem Hashem that you're writing up to the right letter, that it's written properly. Focus, because again, if it's if there's no fixing, there's no scratching this one out. The Mishnah Berurah then adds, by the way, that that apparently there was a minig by Seifrim. I have to ask a Seifrim next time I see one, that you don't take the pen, dip it in, and start writing the Shem Hashem. Because the first letter, even after you test it, is a little bit thicker, it's a little bit globbier. So you always want to write another letter before, or a tag, or something before you get into the Shem Hashem, so that you're in the middle of a flow. Again, you have to know exactly the mitzias. Mechaber says in Chav Gimel, Imatza shechasar ois echad, if you missed a letter, in takana. Meaning, if let's say you wrote a word and you realize you missed a letter, there's no way to fix it. Why? Because again, by Sefer Torahs, it could be written out of order, so just add the letter in. By a mezuzah and tefillin, it has to be written kisidron, which means that if I wrote let's say the word, echad, I missed a ches. If there's a space, I can't just shtup the ches in, because once you continue writing, it's puzzle. So you have to do geniza, but it's still important to check. But the Mishnah Berurah points out it's still important to check, because you have to make sure not to. If you got to check, because again, if there's a problem, you don't want to apostle the whole thing. Better to discard a parsha than to put in a apostle ksav. Then the Mechaber says, "V'im yasser ois echad yesh lo takana de sheyigra oisa im hi besoif teva oy bahaschala." Let's say you realize that there's a word that has an extra letter. So here's the situation, can I fix it? So now you're talking about erasing a letter. So the answer is it depends. where is that letter. If it's the beginning of the word or the end of the word, you could just erase it. If it's in the middle, you can't. What happens when you erase a letter in the middle of the word? It makes it look like two words. If you have the word, Bechar, and and there's you erase the chaf, whatever it is. Now it's a beis and a vav resh. It separates the words. There's no eitzah. So if there's an extra letter, depending on where the letter is, would dictate whether you're able to fix it. No, stop.